let me tell you a story. Actually, let me tell you a few stories, because money is something we usually pretend is numbers, but it ends up being about people. The first person I want you to imagine is what most of us would describe as doing well. They have a steady income, nothing extravagant but respectable. They pay their bills on time. They don't feel reckless. In fact, they feel responsible. They have a car they like, a place that feels comfortable, and just enough room in their budget to breathe, or at least that's what it looks like. If you ask them how they are doing financially, they would probably say, "I'm fine." But here's what fine actually looks like. Every month, money comes in, and every month it already has an assignment. A payment here, a balance there, subscription upgrades, lifestyle expenses that quietly arrived one by one. None of them felt dangerous when they started. Each one made sense at the time. Together, they have created a situation where this person must keep earning at the same pace or faster just to maintain their life. This is the kind of person the simple path to wealth is written for. You see, the author of this book, J.L. Collins, didn't write this book for irresponsible people. He wrote the book to people we call normal. One of the harshest comparisons in the book is the comparison of debt to leeches. Because, I mean, we all know leeches, right? You see, leeches don't attack you loudly. They don't announce themselves. They just attack you quietly, and over time you begin to feel the drain. That is what debt is like. Now let's talk about this second person. They earn more. They have climbed higher. I mean, the financial ladder, they are up there, right? We see them travel more. We see them with the cars. They are a bit flashy. They live better lives. At least visibly, that is what we see. But here's the problem. Their lifestyle has matched almost perfectly with their income. So a new upgrade or a new increase in salary also comes with an upgraded lifestyle. Collins uses a phrase for this kind of life. It's easy to overlook, but once it lands, it's difficult to forget. A gilded slave. Oh, don't get angry. Do not get angry at all. It's a description of a beautifully caged life. The bars are polished, but the person inside doesn't feel free, because they have built a lifestyle where they cannot walk away, they can't take risk, they cannot slow down. Again, an expensive life that doesn't allow them to pause, because their whole system will collapse. And this is one of the central ideas of the book. Why? Because wealth isn't what you can afford to buy, it is what you can afford to refuse. And now let me tell you about the third and final person. This one doesn't look impressive at first. In fact, if you line them with the others I have already described, you will underestimate them. You know why? Because their life is simpler. They have learned a system where they are able to live below their means. Their expenses are lower. They don't live their life to impress people, and they have something the others don't have: margin. They save first, not last. They avoid debt as much as possible. They live a very simple life, as I've already said. They start investing not because they know everything about investing, but they just try to be consistent and make it as simple as possible. And let me tell you more about this third person. You see, when they invest and speculations come and the news come, World War III is about to happen, the world is collapsing, the economy is collapsing, things are happening, they do not panic and sell. You know what they do? They keep buying, and they allow time to do the work for them. So this is the third person Collins talks about in the book that wants all of us, at least those who want the simple path to wealth, to get to that point in time. When you read the book, you get to a point where you notice this is more than money. Collins has made it very clearly that it's about freedom. He wants you to get to a point where your life no longer depends largely on your labor, where money is not at the back of every decision you make. And so again, to him, it's about freedom. I got this book as a gift, and after I read the book and finished, I was like, these two people that gave me this book really like me. They like me more than I know, because I was like, when I started the book, I have heard most of the things the book is already saying from podcasts, from all the books I have been reading. Spend less than you earn. Save, invest the surplus, blah blah blah. Haven't you heard it before? But a simple path to wealth, he makes money very simple. He makes investment very simple. In fact, let me read a few lines from the book for you, because you need to get a copy of this book. Money can buy many things, but nothing more valuable than your freedom. Let me tell you my favorite line from that book. Avoid fiscally irresponsible people. Never marry one, or otherwise give him or her access to your money. Most of us young people, and I find myself thinking a lot about money. I like money, of course. I find myself thinking a lot about money because everything at this point, everything requires money. Debt, rent, school fees, whatever. As I am sitting here, all of this requires money, right? And there's so much we can do with our lives, but we end up spending a lot of it thinking about money. We spend a lot of our lives looking for money, and then we allow lifestyle to creep in and take away all the money again, and now we are bounded by it, because you can't even live without money. At least where we live, the kind of civilization we are in now, unless you shift away into the bush, you have to live. You need money to do everything. So the simple path to wealth is that spend less than you earn, save, invest, avoid debt as much as possible. And he says something in the book that made me stare at the ceiling for a long time. He says save 50% of your income. I was like, no sir, you don't know where I come from. You cannot save 50% of your income. And then I read stories of people who had made an attempt to this, and he's like, for the next 3 months, cut out everything except the essentials, your rent, your groceries, and a few bills. No clothes. So put a pause on, say, buying clothes for the next 3 months. Put a pause on eating out for the next 3 months, or just try it for 30 days and see. I was like, sir, I'm a Gen Z. We don't do that. But I got the point of his book. He made, you see, one thing with book reviews is that I'm not able to tell you everything in the book. So I just come to tell you the gist of the book so that you go and get a copy of the book to read. It is one of the simplest books I have read about money. Very simple. He cuts out all the noise that is out there. He says avoid financial advisors, people you have to pay to advise you about money, because if you have enough money to need people to pay them to advise you about money, it means you should be able to handle your money yourself. He talks about looking towards just investing in the stock market, like one ETF that covers all the stock market, so you don't put your money here and put your money here and then you are trying to beat the market, because none of us are able to beat the market. You are not special. Again, by the end of the book, the message is very simple and quiet. Money can buy many things, but nothing more valuable than your freedom. You are not using money to buy status. You want to use money to buy freedom. Freedom to rest. Freedom to own your time and wake up to be able to do what you want at any time you like. That is the simple path to wealth. Subscribe to my channel, like, share with a friend, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.